Uh-huh. It's February 15th and we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Started From One on this Monday. My name is Andy. I'm a 2D animator and illustrator working freelance for international clients, and here I am showing you my process in this stream. Let's see. We got some nice people in the chat. Hello, everybody. Thanks for taking your time and joining me today. I'll gonna do a small recap in a second to see what we've done, because I finally finished the last animation we did during the last streams, and I felt like I have to do a little bit of extra work to get the stream running and start something new today. And I haven't decided yet what to do. I have a few ideas, but if anybody wants to suggest some topics or some things you would like to see me animate or draw or whatever, we could discuss that. So, what you just heard in the intro, the music was provided by Bolz and Knecht, two guys from Germany, great musicians. Check out their website. They were kind enough to give me their music for the intro. And that said, I think we are ready to go. I'll try to monitor all the chats. Meanwhile, we are live on YouTube and Twitch. If you haven't subscribed, that's a very good moment to do so. Just hit the button, push the like button, get a comment. It's very, very easy. I tried it the other day and I was surprised how easy it is. So help me out to spread the word. And without further ado, let's see what we can. All right. We're gonna switch the music to a relaxed lo-fi trip-hop playlist. We use a free for streaming use playlist. It's called Stream Lo-Fi. If you're interested, check it out on Vimeo. Vimeo, what the hell? No, on Spotify, of course. Sorry, I tried to multitask and that's what's happening. All right. So, let's have a little recap on what we've done so far for the last no more even. It's been like six episodes of streaming that we wanted to animate this little character I illustrated a while back. And at the very first two episodes of the streaming, we made him walk. We did a walk cycle, and then we got the suggestion, why not doing a skateboard trick? So, as I've never done a skateboard trick, I've never animated one, we started off by looking for some references, and we had this video that I analyzed and thought that would be a cool trick to do so. So we got us a few key poses out of that video, the ones that were just stopped, to get a little bit of an idea how we time the trip, what are the most important things that we want to capture to make the trick actually work. So here you see our first sketching of the key poses that I just wanted to capture, and we started with a fairly realistic approach just to make sure we stay with the reference. As I said, I've never done such animation before of a kickflip here, so I felt like I want to do it bit by bit. And here is the very first result that we animated on fours. We added the in between, so we got a little bit more fluent one, and I added even more in-betweens, so we just have a... Well, let me pause here. We are very quickly here. Okay, so let me see. I'm gonna redo this again. So from the very first animation, we get an idea of the trick, but it's not very fluent. Then we added in a few frames, which worked all right. We got an idea of how the trick is gonna look like. Worked fine so far, but I felt we had to add in more drawings. So we actually are animating on ones, which means every frame, there are 24 frames in 1 second, so every frame is a new drawing to make the animation as fluent as possible and to make the movement as clear as possible. And I decided to do it on ones because the movement was very, very fast. So I felt like there were some things missing if we don't animate it on ones. And that's the cleanup result. Really like it. But then came the challenge to adapt our illustration to the trick. So we did the whole poses again, this time with our character. And the very first drawing that you see here, I wanted to do fairly in detail to make sure I got everything captured right. So we started with the key poses that we got out of our video, and that's the result of animating on twos. Here we see everything on ones. And then we started to clean up in Krita, which is a new software I started to use like 3 streams before. We're gonna do our animation or whatever we do today in Krita as well. It's a free software, check it out, it's pretty cool. And that's our final result, our kickflip. And I'm pretty happy with that. So this is basically the recap what we did for the last approximately 16 hours. I don't know if I'm exaggerating, but probably was around 16 hours the work we put in here. But just have in mind, like actually we did 2 animations as we animated the first quite realistic character and then adapted it. So yeah, that said, I would like to jump into our software Krita here. I did a little bit of a warm-up while I was waiting to get online, and I highly suggest doing so. Just to get your lines a little bit smoother, you have to walk. So, hey Jack, how are you doing? I'm pretty fine. It feels like such a long... I streamed on Friday night, was pretty low, but since then it feels like so much time passed by and I was really looking forward to do the stream today. So yeah, we don't have any suggestions yet. I could propose a pretty nice exercise that could help us to use Krita just for drawing purposes. And it is basically an exercise that I like to do, which is just a random composition of 4 geometric shapes and come up with different kind of heads with those shapes. I've done that several times, and maybe we could do that with the next step, actually animating faces, which I've never done. We could get into facial expressions, so definitely would be a complete new learning topic for me and maybe for you. So we would start off at the same point and help each other out in the learning process. So, well, I would say I will do that. A little quick way, maybe somebody's typing in a suggestion or whatsoever. Before I start, I wanted to get a little bit of what I've learned so far in Krita. I think it's an awesome tool if you start off and you don't have a subscription for Adobe Creative Cloud, you have no Photoshop or Animate or any other software. I'm not aware of any other free animation software, so maybe there's also another option. But I highly recommend to check it out, Krita. Pretty much like it. We did, so far we did pixel based animations. There's also an option for vector-based animation. We haven't found the right tool so far, or at least we didn't get the right settings for our pen brushes, so that's still to come, I suppose, to check it out. So there are a few bugs in Krita. The one that bugged me the most was that there is a lot of times like your brush goes nuts and you just get thick strokes or whatever, so it doesn't really respect pressure sensitivity, not even the size, so you just get bold lines suddenly. It helps to move around in the canvas, zoom in, zoom out, and but that's probably the biggest issue I had so far. I still try to wrap my head around certain tools and how they function, but that's basically what you have to do in every program that you learn, I suppose. I found out a few cool things that I wanted to share with you. One thing that I really missed compared to Photoshop is the function of just hitting a zoom tool, and by moving the mouse or dragging the mouse to the left or to the right, zoom in and zoom out. That wasn't able so far. I wasn't able to do that, but by accident I hit shift and space at the same time, and now I can rotate it. So, well, that's also interesting. That was not what I was looking for. So, well, I have no idea how I can reset the rotations. Well, we jumped directly in with some new learning curve experiences. So what was it that I... Oh, yeah. It was the Alt Control, which is on my keyboard is the key directly left to the arrow keys. So that combined with space gives you the option to just zoom in and zoom out without losing your previous tool, which is pretty cool. So you just zoom in and it snaps directly back to the brush. That's what I came up or stumbled upon while working on it. So what do we have here? 2 animation in Blender should be easier to jump into for people coming from Adobe Flash. Oh, interesting. That's what Jack is writing in the Twitch chat. Interesting. I didn't know that, and I find that very, very interesting. Reset rotation is found under view. There's also a button you can add to toolbar like clear layer. So for those who don't know Jack yet, he's basically my right hand learning Krita, as he has some experience with the software and helps me out whenever I'm stuck. That's pretty cool. So on the view, reset zoom. I only get the but anyways, like, this is interesting. The mirror view is interesting. Well, we're gonna have a closer look. Okay, for people wanting to learn Blender 2D animation, Jack recommends looking up Worthy on YouTube. So, for all of you who wants to get into Blender or is already into Blender and wants to do some 2D animation, Worthy. It's written W-O-R-T-H-I. View canvas, reset canvas rotation. Let's see, canvas. Reset canvas rotation, there he did it again, check. Thanks a lot, man. All right. So let's do this. So what I normally do, I use a sphere, a cone or a cylinder, and some kind of a plate. It's a plate. So let's see. We just do a sphere. I do a cone. And by the way, I'm pretty happy that I found out about this rotation now because it's pretty handy. On the other side, you get really lazy, I figured, because it happens to me on the when I draw a lot on the iPad and get back to paper. Oh, I find myself with some weird thoughts or muscle memory that wants to zoom in and zoom out with my fingers on the paper. I'm not really doing it, but there are impulses from my brain sending to my fingers, just zoom in, just zoom in. And the same happens with the rotation of the canvas. It happens a lot to me. Wanting to rotate the paper, and I don't know what's your opinion about such working process, like rotating the canvas. I think I heard a lot of like professional illustrator or artists that are not really a big fan of rotating your canvas, that more suggest like adapting your hand position or whatsoever. Yeah, the touchscreen zoom is so intuitive, it rewrote your brain. It is. And I also get the impulse of Control C for jumping back. And that not only happens to me when I draw, like sometimes I do stupid things and somewhere in the back of my mind I do a Control C and just realize I know we're in real life here, so yeah, but maybe you know what I'm talking about. So let's see, that could be basically our shapes. Okay, and I don't even want to put in any other lines to mark like something like this, to mark actually the volume of the sphere, for example. I go back because it would already give me suggestions where the middle of my face wasn't so on. So now I'm still very free with perspective and so on. Oh, by the way, you don't see any timeline anymore and animation tools, as I went to the Dockers and just deactivated the timeline and animation tools. So we basically use the software now as it was just a drawing software, and we're gonna see if we're gonna find any limitations here. Okay, now I just bring down my opacity And as normally I would draw now on top of that shapes, but for now I think I'm gonna add another separate layer, because maybe I want to do a few heads with the same geometric shapes, just to make the point of how many varieties and options you get just by combining those 3 geometric shapes in this order. Now you just could arrange them differently, and there you go with 100 other options for your head. So from here on, I basically just maybe, I don't know why, but I like drawing with blue pencils. So because of what I already have, it feels like very natural to bring my eyes in here. And now I start to draw some kind of an idea where my middle line of my face would be. So I get a little bit idea of the perspective. Okay. And I'm thinking about doing a little bit more elaborated recap video on the topic of the kickflip, just what you basically saw in the intro of this stream. And I thought it could be some kind of a cool trailer for the playlist, just to, because I totally understand that not everybody is gonna watch 6 episodes of 2.5 hours to see how I animated the kickflip. So it's, I don't know, I'm still trying to figure out what makes the most sense, because I pretty much like the streaming format, but I think it works. It works when I'm live and you actually want to join and watch me doing this live. But once I stop streaming, I think I have to think about another format to, let's see, to get the content. All right, I started to draw this weekend again on paper, and I felt very, very frustrating, because lately I feel like my skills of drawing hands suck so much, and it frustrates me, because it feels like even I come up with a pretty cool character or pose or whatsoever, like the hands, they can ruin everything. And when you get your hands right, I think it gives a lot of it's very important for the drawing. And I read about the problem. It's just that we are so used to see our own hands, and although something with drawn hands is off, we may not even be able to put our finger on what's not working, but we definitely see very easily if hands are not as they're supposed to be. So, and now I'm using this here is. And here, this overlap, I'm not sure if I really take it. Or I just go with something like this. So although my geometric shapes, it's not like this is it's the rule. You have to use this. It just helps you to loosen up your imagination. And nobody's gonna point the finger at you because you left out this part of the geometric shape. So for all of you who joined the streaming and now are disappointed as you were hoping to see some animation stuff, share with me your frustrations and we will see how we can fit your expectations on that streaming. I would be more than happy to animate this face or whatever face comes out after this. And as the title says, starting at frame 1 may mean that frame 1 is actually still frame because you have to design it first or create what you want to animate. And as working in illustration and animation, it goes hand in hand basically. So keeping in mind that we don't want to... Oh, keeping in mind that we probably want to animate the character, we should always... Now I go totally off. Like now the face is more or less, the head is more or less based on the geometric shapes, but from here on I just add in a little bit of the upper body. And that will be number 1. So let's get directly into the next one. So we could use this here. No, it's too similar, I suppose. So it's always very difficult to avoid putting your eye line in here. So let's try not to do this and put it in here. And I always tend to draw my characters looking at their right side, so they looking to their left. I don't know why I do that, but so let's put our eyes in here and see what's happening. I think I always get out the first very impulsive idea of a character. based on the shapes, I get it out of my system. Like, it's very difficult actually for me now not seeing this as the lower part of the jaw. So I'll try to not do it. Or I don't know. No, I feel like this could be a helmet. Yeah, no. Okay. Well, it doesn't even look like the helmet. It's just why not put in all hair? So it's just, I don't know. He looks a little bit like a dum-dum. Kind of a... But I think as you decide with your first composition of the geometric shapes, you definitely already define a certain characteristic for your for the head you draw. So they both seem like, as the shape really is a... It's very narrow on the top and bright, not bright, like very wide on the bottom. It somehow feels like it's definitely gonna bring out like a big jawline, and therefore have this certain aesthetic, I would say. Let's try another one. Now we're gonna bring the eye line up here. And try to work with it a little bit. And one narrow nose. Just to get the mouth in here, and So what kind of hair? I always struggle with the hair. And I always walk through the streets and think like, oh, remember this haircut. Remember this haircut. And then I do. All right. And the thing is, like with the hair, I think you can define so much of the character. Now I basically add another geometric shape, so I didn't really stick with my composition, but I feel totally fine with that. So here this is more, feels more military guy. So let's see what we have. Okay, that's also interesting. I would like to transform them all. And that's something I'm not really familiar with, and I don't really know how to handle it. Is I choose a certain tool, but I don't really see now the actual, like now I see the tool here, in this case the transformation tool, but only once I clicked on the canvas. And what's weird here is I won't be able to, not able to move all of them. Now let's see if there is any tool options here. Retransform, rotate, cubic filter. No, that's not an option. Like, so it's forming multiple. Montelejos, gracias por la generosidad y por inspirar con tu trabajo. I hope you understand English. I gonna answer this in English. I will say de nada. Just everybody understands what I'm saying. You're more than welcome. I'm hoping you can take something with you, and but as I took so much with me, so this is probably a very this is not actually a selfless act here. And I figured, like, doing the stream, I had to look up certain things that I wasn't probably able to explain in my own words. I just had it stuck in my head, but so... Okay, here are now the 3 characters that came out within a few minutes. The transform tool, as far as I'm aware, only works on one layer. That's feedback we get from our specialist, Jack. And I don't know how you feel about it, Jack, but I think that's a huge limitation there. Maybe. What about groups? Is there actually a possibility to group them? Group. Okay, quick group. Is probably like everywhere. Okay. So let's see how this works. Oh, we have to group them. Look at that. And then it works. Well, that could be a workaround. But it would be cool if we just could like do it with different layers. So I'm gonna put the geometric shapes in here as well. Can I just, wow, what did I do? Okay. What is that? When is there any toggle? Oh no, this is just the icon to tell me that it's inside a group, okay. Felt like something that I can toggle on or off. Okay, so I don't know if we actually want to animate already one of those guys. Let's try something new. Not like we're in a rush. I think every stream that is taking less than 3 hours is not a stream. I don't know. Anybody watching has some important appointments, so we have to hurry. Is there? Couldn't imagine anything more important than watching this stream. And I feel all the people that like the amount of people watching the stream. The world is standing still right now. Okay, enough nonsense. Okay, geometric shapes. Let's start. Let's do the opposite. Like we had this kind of constellation here. Let's do the opposite. So I start off with a what do we, well, let's not overthink that. So we put in some kind of a cone. Try not to rotate the canvas, as although it's pretty helpful. Having heard all such comments that you better not rotate your paper, you just rotate your arm. I don't know why, but I'm pretty sure there is some sense behind that, and as I heard it from a few very professional illustrator, I may wanna listen to them, as they may be that good in illustrating because they respect such rules. So it's like sometimes you just don't get the idea of an exercise until you actually did it, and then later on in a few years you realize, oh man, that was so helpful. I don't know how is it actually in the original, but isn't it Mr. Miyagi who already teaches the apply and polish approach? I don't know if he says in the original apply and polish, but I think we all know what he says, right? So let's go with Mr. Miyagi and go the uncomfortable approach. And hope that there is something good coming out of it. So, what is that? Okay. I feel like I want to draw in my eye line here. Like a very boring approach. I would actually draw some kind of a head on top of him. Or her. Why not? This is the Mad Hatter. Yeah, not really, right? But that's the idea. You also have to get the crap out of your system. And as I said in the previous stream, sometimes even you really hate what you're doing right now. Like when it comes to the result of your drawing, I always try to finish it, because sometimes on the way there's something coming that actually doesn't make it too bad. And although it may not be to your liking what you do at the moment, there's always some learning to it. That's at least what I feel. So yeah, stick with the routine, and maybe like if I really put in some effort here and if I started out rendering this and putting in more details, I'm pretty sure I could still fix it, so it would be more something I personally like. But then as well, like why should we stop here with the very first result? Because it's something that happens a lot to me, to want to stick with the first result, and then once you find the motivation or the strength to work on another idea, you suddenly realized that the second idea is even better. Or at least you can make sure that the very first idea was actually the best. So either way, you win some, you lose some. It's all the same to me, as a great poet of our times used to say. So, well, like it or not, it's a head. It's a face. It's a head. So I normally want to finish off with bringing at least some kind of a okay, another one. Jack, how's your bachelor project going? Are you progressing? So I feel like now we should switch a little bit. Like I tend to do all the time the same kind of eyes. Just put in the eye line, and then it's. Let's see. I feel like this could be some kind of a nose. I don't know. Let's put in. Some other kind of eyes. Maybe it's a little bit too plain. Like I want a little bit more of a perspective here. So I'll make sure I also see the other eye. It's going great. I'm happy for you. Keep going. Oh, we definitely should start with the mustaches and beards. We haven't done one single character with a beard. That should definitely change, as I totally think that this makes your character even more more appealing. Well, now once I decided that I want to draw a beard, it somehow seems like I'm drawing a woman. So, and that's basically most of the time the process, and I like really not knowing the outcome, and I think it's totally fine. Even if you do like lion's work, I start off like this. Probably the geometric shapes at the beginning, the composition where where everything starts, will be in a certain composition. Like I commented before, sometimes when you just have it too narrow on the top, it's definitely gonna have some masculinity in it, or not. I don't know. Like so if I were to illustrate some children or whatsoever, or women, like the composition would probably be different from the start on. So I don't know. Let's try not to make it a woman though. So just to... It's okay, this is a character. Pretty alright, I suppose, but I don't Olivia, yes, it does. It looks like Olivia. Well, with the, I think that's a great, that's a big thing that makes Olivia Olivia, right? Is she actually called Olive Oil? Didn't know that. Like I watched Popeye when I was a small, when I was a kid, and I think to remember that she was called Olivia, at least on German television. All right, now I want to bring in a separate layer just to make a point here. So this is our character, and now we want to add some interesting characteristics because it looks all right, and with this neck it doesn't even slightly look like a woman. But what I also really like, before I bring in more details, although it looks pretty clearly we're looking from the side to the character, like we're seeing him from his right side, we could switch that pose totally by bringing in the neck like so. And that would change the whole drawing and pretty much makes it more interesting, at least that's what I think. So let's bring in some cool details, like what kind of beard do you want me? What kind of beard do you want me to draw in? Come on, you chat people, give it a try. Some reference. I don't know why, but I'm always drawn to the, I don't know how you would call it. I always call it like the porn mustache. Oh. And that's probably always my first choice. And it would work great with those sideburns here. Oh wow. All right. So what else could we give him, like a very Now we make him a something like this. Oh, maybe he could even have like a one of those muscle shirts. All right, so this was our start for the character. Now adding in some, but his eyes are not really going with the whole badass stuff, but I don't know. Maybe that makes it even more interesting. Okay. Try another beard. Let's go with the full. Here's as well like the problem. If you really want to animate it, the character, you probably want to make sure you don't get too much details in there, as you may have to animate them all frame by frame, and therefore all your workload is gonna be immensely increased. So I don't know, let's change his hair. So this is more like a okay, so this is not number 1 and number 2. And as you can see how much a beard, a haircut, and a muscle shirt or just a shirt can change. So maybe you look like this now, but always remember, this could be you as well. So don't limit yourself. Get those razors and make this beard so there seems to be some kind of a problem with the webcam, I suppose. Why is that? Let me switch here. That is unfortunate. So change. Now we're back again, I suppose. Yep. Oh yeah, my webcam is frozen. Thanks, Jack. I just figured it out. And all right, let's get another. Let's group those 3 together. This one. Okay, let's do another one. And let's see. What else could we do? I feel like this could be some kind of a an upper lip. Not really sure where this may go. Those are my corporate eyes. whenever I have to do illustration for more or less like a corporate, like a more serious thing, like the eyes change a lot in your illustration, and I figure those are pretty neutral eyes, and they work quite good for those kind of projects. And then normally the ears. Oh, now that's also a thing that I haven't really understood so far in Gritter. I think you first have to, when you have the lasso tool and you want to delete a certain thing, like then you draw your lasso, but then I think I have to activate my, at least that's how I understand it, I have to activate my brush tool to tell Gritter what I actually want to delete. And then I go under eraser. Do I have to go into eraser mode? Just go and then go backspace? Yeah, because if I don't go into the eraser mode, it somehow erases everything and leaves a black hole. So not sure if this is something I haven't understood completely until now. I don't want to do corporate. We're here to have fun, so let's not. I think it's all right to do those kind of eyes, and I actually enjoy doing this as well. It's not, but it's not something that my characters, when I draw naturally my own style, would have as their eyes, I suppose. At least not lately. Like one's own style definitely changes over time. Well, there are certain moments where you feel more comfortable with one style, and at least for me, I wouldn't be able to put the finger on a certain style and say this is my style. I think it's always a you use checks asking what kind of tool that I use for the selection, because he's working fine. I do the outline selection tool, and I just mark this and then I put backspace, and that's what's happening. And you see, holy moly, look at that. I actually don't delete it, I fill it. It was, and I fill it with the background color. This is supposedly my, so what mode am I in? Replace. intersect at subtract keys. There's maybe. No, this is basically more like. So check. I'm not delete erase the selected area. Delete. All right. Okay. I shouldn't do the backspace. Okay. I should delete. All right. That works. Just check. So the backspace fills it, but with the background color. This is my foreground color, or my primary color. This is my secondary color. With backspace, I fill with the secondary color, apparently. All right. So I don't know why he's bringing out the tongue, but he probably has a good reason for it. Okay, let's use this from the beginning as some kind of a. This is our mustache. Okay. Whoa. And let's see. Okay. So here as well, I don't really use the whole shape here from this thing, but it helps me anyways to get a certain vision of the character while I'm drawing. So here's where I want to switch a little bit the perspective and make him like kind of break the pose a little bit. Okay. I like his mustache. Okay. Play a little bit with that. And then maybe we could do some animation. So again, this technique is just to start off when you actually do client work with some first ideas and just doing very quickly a few sketches, trying to bring your like I think a good thing is to experiment a little bit on what kind of general shapes create certain feelings in your character. Like if you're very narrow in the bottom, like as well considering the whole shape, if you drew like a whole character, like something like that, right, where you maybe have your feet here in like this maybe the arms, like the poses. Whoa, I don't know if I have to touch. Okay, the touch one as well. So more like a rectangular shape maybe may look masculine, like but also unstable. If you build a shape like this, like your character is probably gonna look like very stable, very strong, but very bulky, and maybe some brings in some kind of simplicity. So yeah, experiment a little bit with the different shapes and the and the characteristics that come with it. And once you figure that out and you have a commission for a certain product or whatsoever, and you get the briefing of how the character should look like, feel like, start off with those general simple shapes to make sure that they already go with the commission, and then start experimenting. Do I don't know, hundreds of different of those faces. Like in 5 minutes you get a face. If you draw really fast, and just continue until you feel like you're getting somewhere. And try to have fun, especially. And this is more or less my go-to routine when I'm not really sure what to draw. Just start with simple shapes and then build on top of them. All right. Okay. So maybe we could animate this guy if there are no objections from anybody out there in the World Wide Web. And I'm not really sure what we what kind of facial expressions we could do. Like, I'm wondering if we are now no objections from Jack. That's good. So, as you are my right hand and psychic in this streaming, I think I then go for it. Yeah, I feel like it would be fun to do like an expression of this guy that you wouldn't suggest to get from him. Like, he's looking very serious, very... He's got some feminine touch. Although he has this mustache, I don't know if it's the eyes or if it's... Maybe it's... We should get some heavier eyebrows here. And let me try out one thing. I don't want to get too much detail in as we want to animate it. I'm thinking about like this very subtle beard. No, I don't think so. Well, anyways. It's not like I have a problem with it, that he looks feminine. I just want to be able to point out what it is that makes him, or that makes me think he looks kind of feminine. What do you think? Or am I just imagining it? It's definitely the eyes, but I'm not really sure if it's the eyes or the eyebrows. Let's tweak some things here. I think it's his big eye. He smokes a pipe. Alright. You're right. And I feel like this will complicate our animation, but maybe we are now like on the we're loose as a goose, and let's not think about the animation process and just try out different things. Like, I feel like if he's actually smoking a pipe, I want him to have this kind of a vest. You say it's the eyelash? Okay, Jack thinks it's because, yeah, the line here is very dark. Maybe that seems like... Still. I think that's one very, very difficult task and very important task. Like, sometimes you get this kind of feedback from your clients and you have to know what to do with that feedback. Because if you're not able to point out what is causing that feeling from the point of view of the client, how would your client be able to point it out? So so a pipe. Dude, I actually never drew a pipe. I've seen Inglorious Bastards the other day, and the beginning scene where, is it called Langner, I think? Like Christoph Waltz puts out this massive pipe. Is that something you would feel comfortable with, Jack? Okay, let's try the pipe here. He has to... Yeah, I feel like the wavy pipe would be... Let's draw this on a separate layer though. I don't know how far we go here. I just flipped the whole canvas, as I feel now I start to have a closer look at the silhouette and the composition of the drawing, and to get a better idea, it is pretty helpful to just mirror your canvas. And at the beginning of the stream, I normally do this squeaky sound, and it's basically just a toy from my son, but he saw it on the table and he got angry with me that I took his toys. So now I don't have the squeaky, so this time I had to do the sound on my own, and all I came up with was maybe my all-time favorite sound, which is those old school car hongs where I just go like and maybe we can use this sound for our expression. Like, this is the basic surprise sound, isn't it? Oh well, I think, I don't know where it can... For me, originally, it's some Warner Bros. Animation of a wolf who sees... Or is it Betsy Boo? Well, he just sees a beautiful woman and goes like in the air and floats, shoots up and floats horizontally while his eyes are just popping out. And just this sound is brilliant. Check, I left it a little bit smaller, the pipe, as I feel my first impulse was not to exaggerate too much, but what do you think? This one or that one? So this is option 1, option 2. Anybody, any opinions on the bigger size? Looks great. Okay, let's do the big one. And I'm now struggling. I think I'm gonna expose myself and draw in a hand holding. Like, it will be... By the way, he should probably have... Okay. Okay, that should go on this line. Can I just merge with layer below? Okay. Okay. I don't know how to put the mouth. I remember when I was a small kid and my father used to smoke, he always had his cigarette in one side, and we used to do those little car models, and when he was doing this, he was always like getting actually air from one side of his mouth while he holds the cigarette in one and the other side, and I felt like doing so as well here. Feels a little bit off. So yeah, hands is a pretty damn thing, to be honest. I added a new playlist on the YouTube channel that I call tutorials, and there I added one video that I basically watched on the weekend on drawing hands. It's by David Fincher. He's been like a comic artist for forever. And let's see, David Finch. And it's pretty helpful. He is also referring to the force drawing by Mattesi. So definitely worth watching. I found it very interesting. It's not really, it tells you how to draw them, but there more or less he points out some studies on how your hands bend when you do certain things and where you should put your finger in. But I really much get a lot of problems with proportions. Let's see, I want to bring that a little bit down. And now, like, I have to think he would grab it like this, right? More or less. And I think to make it more dynamic, maybe want to bring it down. Oh, so I have to now bring it into the group to make. And that was stupid anyways, because the layer is empty. It doesn't matter if it transforms or not. So, I wanted to shrink it down a little bit to get a better idea of the drawing, and maybe I may wanna Anyways, I don't know if this makes any sense. I feel like I want to keep the cropping from before, but now I want to have a little bit more of space to be able to bring the hand, because I feel like the hand should come from this side. But then as well, like his hand should now this can go totally wrong, right? Because now I have he's basically looking into this direction. Now he's looking in this direction and the other hand comes from here. So let's see, like so. Okay, now I think I get more or less the idea how it should look like. And now I try really to break it down. Like this is what I basically have done the weekend, bringing those shapes in. And see, we want to curve this side a little bit more. This is one thing here, like this is not really a block when you see it from the side. This is more or less like a flattened out where your fingers come out from this side, like so. Okay, that was something I found very interesting and I've never really done before, so okay. So maybe shorten it a little bit more. So now you basically see me doing something I feel very uncomfortable with. And therefore I have to really break it down into the basic shapes to make sure I... Okay, here we got a knuckle, here we got a knuckle. Now I bring in details that I probably don't want to see afterwards. So here's one finger, there's one finger. So this finger comes up here, then goes over here, and the other ones, they're basically wrapping already around and building some kind of a, like if it was a fist, like they're already closed. So you may want to bring... Oh, no. So this is pretty odd. I have my transparency of the brush at 31%, but whenever I... Maybe this comes with the... have to be more gentle with the... I'm not really sure if this is gonna work. And if we want it to look like this, actually... Now look, this arm is so badly wrong. Like, very, very short. Just think about your hand should... this hand wouldn't even cover this area, or maybe this area. Okay. Feel like we have to shrink it down even further. So I hope my struggling here with doing the hand will show you that like my weak spots. And that's really something I find very difficult to create dynamic poses when you're not animating. And it's actually just a still image. So here would be his shoulder. And then we should... Now here we get some foreshortening going on. It's the arm. It's coming closer to... Like animating that now is gonna be a pain. Now I'm just doing it because I want to get the arm right, and then we're gonna see if we actually animate him with the hand holding the pipe, or we just gonna be happy with our... Because the whole pose wasn't actually supposed to bring this arm to the front. And I suppose like the problem already would be somewhere like we should feel this arm reaching here. It should already be visible here and with the clothes. No, I think this may be a problem. Let's try the other hand. Because here actually this shoulder is turning away from us, and for having this hand holding, it's not really working with its turning away, so let's try another one. So now it's actually the arm, the hand. Let's see. Now we would see the whole fingers. Have to watch the camera to. Okay. So I do try this, and if it's not working out, I think I just gonna continue animating the expression. So here would be probably the thumb. And let's see. Mm. Not really feeling it. And nah, I really don't like it. So sorry for that. There was a slight. The forearm would be foreshortened and kind of behind the hands. Yeah, I think I'll have to. It behind the hand. It feels like he would. Yeah, the elbow would come towards us. No. Well, there it is again. This weird bug. So no. So hand looks great though. Thanks a lot, Jack. So yeah, that was a little insight of me sucking at hand drawings. So that said, let's look what. Okay, let's put that all in the. They're worth at least to join the other elements in the drawing. It. So I want to get rid of this. Okay. So what kind of an expression would we like him? I would like to do something silly. Let's try silly. He's like, nah, he's very like this authority kind of. He's got some authority going on. Then I'd like to see him just losing it. Let's see. Now we could actually get in our timeline. This is the animation doc and timeline doc. So I don't want to need that much of that. Let's see. So this is layer 20. I wonder if the layer in a group, how they are represented in the timeline. So I still see all of them here. So they're not grouped together here. So yeah, it's clean up a little bit, maybe. Good thing. So we merge those two together. Bring it out of the group. So this is now basically our animation layer. It's just animation. Overexcited silly delight. Yes, okay. Let's try that. I just bring in another keyframe, and I'm gonna. Oh, what the hell? Ah, I was pressing the M button. Okay. So let's see. see how the mustache helps us bringing our emotion here. So what I try to do now is, as it is delighted, I would open up the shapes like those. The mouth is opening up, and the whole part of the eyes. As she's so excited that even the cheeks are just going up here. And both eyebrows are just like that's not really silly. Let's try to push it, open it even more. And let's try to redo the mustache. Not really sure. I'm thinking about him biting wrist again. Like, what's happening today with the webcam? Okay, we're back. This is supposed to go up as well. I'm still looking here. I am not really. Are we getting somewhere here? Just experimenting a little bit here with the different shapes and we have to get even higher with the mustache here. Hey, I would say let's. I'm not 100% happy with this here, but we're just try to animate that. What I would like to do is a maybe slight switch of or shift of the pose as well. So what we could do, like we could make him lean. And then he probably would rotate in. And now in the animation process, I'm just looking extreme poses. This, and like if you think about our walk cycle, we had our 2 contact poses. Those were our extremes. And here the extreme would be him, the very cool state, emotional state, and then getting really excited. So this is basically, we come from here and we want to go to this. And now feel like we are getting a little bit too big. But hey, this is digital. So try this and try this on paper. Feel like his teeth are a little bit too much. Let's see if we just see the teeth. So where would the pipe be? It's just floating in the air. I don't know if I want to rotate it that much. Let's see. Is this looking like something? That makes sense to you? I feel like his shirt is a little bit too uptight. He's a muscular fella, knows what he can show. All right, I think we could work from this. We could start with that, and Yeah, why not? I feel like the top of his head. Let's see. He gets wider on the top, and here I don't have that feeling. Probably want to get this out a little bit more. Okay, now let's put in a breakdown pose, which is basically a little explanation of how he comes from this pose to that pose, right? So you would think, well, you just draw in a simple in between, like the head be more or less here. So we would just go from one point to the other. But I want to try another thing, because in animation we always want to think in arcs. So I want to try some arc, like he's basically looking like this and going like this. I would love to make him move like so, like getting a little bit closer, if that makes sense. Or what if we, let me see, I wanna see what happens if we flip that image, that drawing. Now let's see how we do that for everybody who hasn't seen anything else from this channel. We are completely off topic here and trying to make our way in. Here we go. Make our way in. No, he switched on. In the software Gritter. So now let's see. And now I'm trying to figure out how I can get this frame, only this frame, not the other frame, mirrored basically. So I would suggest there's a edit. No, it is not. We have an image mirror, which is not what we want, as it's gonna mirror every keyframe. Let's just put a right click in here. Whoa, what is that? This is right click, okay. Didn't know that. So let's see, tools option. Doing a transfer, says check in the chat. Let's see what transfer would fit our rotate scale. So you mean just like that, which is not really. Okay, mirror horizontal. Now we have it. Okay, perfect. Thanks. So why not start off here, and then he rotates his head getting over here. I think I like that. So what we want to do here is him, basically. Let me see. I want to have him a little bit lower down here. So break it down into the simple shapes as he has. Okay. So this is basically the shape of his head from the front, right? Because now what I want to do is see if I already have get some kind of a now I go with see. I actually have a hard time here seeing the different So let's see. What doesn't really make sense now that we switched, like we flipped this one and supposedly rotates the head like this direction. Like his body won't move the other way around like we were. Or we continue doing it anyways, like, and see how it goes. I'm pretty sure that we're gonna have to work a few streams on that one. I really want to do the anticipation first, then we have the rotation, and then we have an overshoot, and then him really getting to the final pose. And this is not something I used to animate. This is also like a first one. So I'm wondering now here if we Normally when you turn your head, you also blink, as this is something like the way from position 1 to position 2. It's like your normally your brain just thinks like there's nothing interesting going on here, so we take advantage of that moment and blink. We haven't done it for such a long time, so we should blink. And then I feel like I want to try to bring first the mustache down. So I bring in 4 three. I stretch the drawing now. It's 4 frames because I think I want to have a quick view on how this looks. And I think I got some anticipation here. Okay, now let's really keep it rough here and bring in another one. And I want to do a overshoot. I just want to bring in the basic shape. And I suppose the overshoot, as it is the super exaggeration, it shoots over what we finally get here, so we have to exaggerate it even more. And let's see how it works if we actually continue with this rotation of him, like going in the other direction. It doesn't really make sense, I suppose, if you go like this and then you go like from here, and then you turn like this. Let's see. Difficult to see here, like probably want to bring in the nose, the eyes to get some, and I think we need more frames here, as it maybe too much. I don't feel it. Let's see. I want to exaggerate even more. And I think all the Although it's just very simple shape, you should be able to get an idea of feeling of how it's supposed to, how it should feel. Can we loop this like so? Maybe you shouldn't overshoot to the front. You shouldn't overshoot more to the top. That feels better. But I don't like the rotation of the upper body a bit. I think we should work on that. Because it doesn't make sense. Like the body would rotate with him. So now this onion skin option is coming in very handy because I can just jump over those other two frames. And now probably want to bring him all together a little bit higher as he's excited, so he stretches out a little bit. And before we had a line here. See. You know, everything else is also not really working here. Damn it. I'm still used to the backspace button, but as we figured out, it is the delete button we want to hit in order to, well, delete. Shouldn't be too difficult to wrap your head around it. So let's get a little bit of a. Let's get this one as well a little bit further, like higher. Now, want to try again to bring down the frames between the overshoot and the And let's see what happens if we speed up like the rotation of the head. Okay. I want to bring in a anticipation frame, which means we take a look at our previous drawing, and then before we actually go this way, maybe he like to exaggerate the arc that comes afterwards. Maybe he's rotating first into like this direction before he then goes this way, so it's anticipation. Just bringing very loosely our eyes. And maybe even exaggerate the arc a little bit more, because in the movement it feels like we're not getting too much of an arc here. Okay, well, I think that would be a start. Anybody out there who thinks we should tweak anything else from here? Like, this is obviously very rough, but maybe there's somebody out there who knows a lot about animating expressions, experience in frame by frame animation, and sees that and says, oh, you should, why not? So if not, I think I'm gonna work on those different frames now and see how it's going. So now I want to bring in bit by bit those different elements of the face, and check how it's going. I'm wondering in the anticipation if I should now let him close his eyes so he can actually shoot them out. I think I have to switch layouts so you definitely can take full advantage of my acting skills. So now he's like that, and then I'm surprised, and then we're like maybe like this. So he should definitely have his eyes closed like so, but maybe even like really press them together. Why not? So I could imagine like this goes up, and as this goes up, because if I do this, all that part is pushing up. That means like the mustache should also be higher up, which goes against my thought of bringing it just That is some weird thing in Krita, but also a good thing, I suppose. That whenever I draw on another frame here that isn't actually a keyframe, and I change or add things, he's gonna automatically add another keyframe, which is so much better than in Animate, for example. Whenever you do a keyframe and then you go further down the timeline and draw on top of it, it just adds to the keyframe that maybe already passed like seconds or something like that. If like anybody who is used to animate, I suppose you know what I mean. And this is pretty cool. It's a little bit like working in After Effects with keyframes. Once you change anything, you already added a keyframe on the attribute. You change anything, he adds automatically a new keyframe. So not sure if then the anticipation would, as the mouth opens, this one goes like before he would even go down before switching up. I'm really now this is all just experimentation and just trying different things and see what actually works. Like, there is the principle of anticipation and overshoot, but how it's actually applied in this case is out of my experience, and therefore pure experimentation. And I would say it should be a little bit more squashed together, the head, as if this is the shape at the beginning, then he should get smaller in order to stretch out at that pose, right? So I feel anyways, like the part beneath the nose and in front and over the mustache is, well, by design pretty, there's a lot of space. So we could and I'm wondering now here, probably if we open up the eyes here we have normal, open, and then to squeeze them down and then open again. So we get this. What makes sense if you understand my, with sound effects to make it even more understandable what's going on in my head, thinking in sound design. So let's try experimenting. I want to bring the mustache down. Okay, let's get this a little bit some time. Don't know. Want to see how it looks when we actually start to close the eyes here. Maybe don't even need that much. I really think I have to look at some references for Wednesday, as I feel a little bit stuck here. I thought I could do it just like so. But it would definitely make sense to Although it feels kind of right. It makes sense for me in the eye. Like, first we go up in order to get down, and then we get up so we can finish down here. And here's something going on. We have double keyframe. Ah, okay, yeah, because I drew in this cheek, so all right, chat is quiet, so I suppose you don't have any. You're fine with that, and I go on. So this would be, oh, maybe I wanna. Just along for the ride. All right. So today it's a little a bumpy road, right? But as I said from the beginning, who am I to tell you how to animate? Look at me. But that's the whole purpose of this stream. To actually reveal my learning process and showing you that I think I wanna. Just drag the pipe behind, I would say. Check if you don't mind. Where are you located at? I'm curious. obviously you're always free to not answer, as you are the master of the chat, so. But I really appreciate you being that. Are you sitting in Germany? All right, where? Where in Germany? I heard it's freezing cold. Oh, I saw that it's freezing cold. Apparently, in the whole world, it's the whole world is freezing. I saw in different countries, people are just out there skiing. -2 degree. Yeah, my family told me about some -16 last week or something like that. Like totally out of my wardrobe. Okay, probably this is also now it's dark with some other stuff. I don't know if this is gonna make sense, like the beard is dragging behind with the movement. All right. So we are now at 3 hours streaming. I'll think I call it a day. So yeah, today has been quite interesting. A lot of outside the comfort zone, definitely. Although the head's drawing is pretty much a routine of mine, and I pretty much enjoy it. But when it came to the hand, to the foreshortening of the arm, and here on the animation of the facial expressions, this is all things that I'm not really comfortable with, but I definitely want to do to get comfortable with. So I'm exposed here 100%. And if you see this afterwards, if you feel like you don't have to do anything and you want to watch a 3-hour stream, not even live, and you reached this point and you have suggestions, write them in the comments. Let me know after you hit like and subscribe. All right. Well, thanks a lot to everybody who had the time to watch. Really appreciate it, and I'm really having fun doing that. Looking forward to Wednesday where we have the next stream. I'll try to get some kind of reference for the facial expression animation that you just see here in the loop, because I think I at least want to make sure that I'm not heading into the wrong direction. I feel comfortable having a little bit of wiggle room for experimentation, but I'm definitely sure there is a recipe and we don't want to reinvent the wheel, so pretty much gonna see what we can do. But I like our character, so that's a good thing, and I think we are heading into the right direction. A little bit slower than the last times, as well. The kickflip took quite some time, as it was also a new topic, but the result is really cool. I like it a lot, and I hope we're gonna finish as well with this this animation with a pleasing result. So have a great day. Thanks a lot. Help me spread the word. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, comment, share. You know the drill. Thanks, and see you next time. Bye bye.